This lesson is on 7.1, which is percents and fractions. So some vocabulary we need to know is, what is a percent? What does it mean? Well, a percent is the ratio whose denominator is 100, because the word percent means per 100. And the symbol we use is this percent sign. Most of you are familiar with this since we see it almost daily. So that means 80% can be written as 80 over 100, because it's a ratio over 100, which we can then simplify to be 4/5. 4% can be written as 4 over 100. And then we can further simplify that to 1/25. So to change it from a percent into a fraction, we simply put the number over 100 and then simplify the fraction. So for example, if we had 19 over 20, to write that as percent, in this case you need to figure out, this is going the opposite way, how many times does 20 go into 100? Well, that's 5. So we have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 5 to get it in a fraction over 100. So we'd get 95 over 100, which is the same as 95%. So now you can see an example of how you go from a percent into a fraction, and then also how do you go from a fraction to a percent. I would put this in your notebook because it's just good to have. You don't have to memorize these, but it's good to know some common percents. So like 10% is 1/10, 20% is 1/5, 25% is 1/4, 30% is 3/10, and so on. And if it's 100%, it's equal to 1 over 1 or 1. So I want you to take a minute and try to write the percent as a fraction in simplest form, or write the fraction as a percent. So try these 4 problems. So press pause now. Example 2, writing a probability as a percent. So now we're using what we learned in a previous chapter, but using percents with it. So you randomly choose a letter from a bag that contains 20 letters. There are 5 vowels, and the rest are consonants. What is the probability that you choose a consonant? Write your answer as a percent. So the first thing we need to know is probability is equal to the number of favorable outcomes, which are consonants, over the total number of possible outcomes, which are 20. So the number of consonants, since we know 5 are vowels, is 15, which that doesn't look that great, but 15. So 15 over 20 is our probability, and we'd want to simplify that and then write it as a percent. So in this case, instead of simplifying, 20 goes into 100 5 times, so 15 times 5 is 75. So we'd get it as 75%. In case you weren't sure how we did that, if we had 15 over 20 times what over what equals 100. So times 5 over 5, which is 75. So 75 over 100 we know is 75%. So I'd like you to try another practice problem using this probability. So you spin a spinner with 10 equal sections. 1 section is red, 4 sections are blue, 3 sections are green, and 2 sections are white. Find the probability that the spinner stops on a blue section, and then write your answer as a percent. So press pause and give that a try. And example 3. So this is finding a percent of a number. So in your town, it rained 30% of all the days in April. How many days in April did it rain? So in order to find 30% of the number of days in April, which are 30, use the factor of 30%. So 30% we can rewrite as a fraction. So 30% is equal to 3/10. So 30% of 30 is equal to 3/10 times 30, because there's 30 days in April. So 3/10 times 30, and then we get 90 over 10. Simplify that, 90 divided by 10 is 9. So it rained a total of 9 days in April. So you can do a similar thing for finding the percent of a number without the word problem. So what's 60% of 5? So first write the percent as a fraction, and then multiply it by this number. What is 10% of 10? So try these two and bring them with you to class tomorrow, and we'll go over them. That's all for lesson 7.1.